Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting a case study entitled Microgravity Technique for Subsurface Cavities Detection at Chan So Lin Site, Kuala Lumpur. This research is crucial for urban safety, especially in rapidly developing areas with complex geology. For the content of this presentation, it will be the introduction, study area location and geology, gravity method background, materials and methods, gravity field modeling, results and discussion, and finally, the conclusion. For the introduction of this research, karst terranes like those in Kuala Lumpur are formed by the dissolution of carbonate rocks, leading to features such as sinkholes and underground cavities. These hidden voids can cause land subsidence and building collapse, which is major concern in urban areas. So this study uses the microgravity technique, a non-invasive geophysical method, to identify and map these hazards efficiently and cost-effectively. For the gravity principles of this study, the gravity method works by detecting changes in subsurface density. Cavities, being much less dense than the surrounding rock, create negative gravity anomalies that can be measured at the surface. This makes gravity surveys especially useful for detecting voids that are otherwise invisible from above. For the mathematical formulation, the researchers use gravity equations to relate the mass and depth of subsurface features to observe gravity changes. For a point source, the anomaly is delta G is equals to the quantity of G times M times Z all over the quantity of X squared plus Z squared raised to 3 halves. And for multiple sources, the researchers sum their effects. These equations form the basis of both the modeling and interpretation, allowing the researchers to estimate the size and depth of the cavities. For modeling of the gravity field, the researchers used forward and inverse approaches. For the forward modeling, it predicts gravity anomalies from a known structure, while inverse modeling estimates the subsurface structure that could produce the measured data. Both approaches are essential for interpreting the gravity survey results and ensuring the reliability of the findings of the study. For the inversion formulation, it involves adjusting a model of subsurface density until the calculated gravity matches the observed data. So the researchers use a matrix-based equation to iteratively refine the models, improving the fit between observed and calculated values. This process helps the researchers reconstruct the most probable subsurface scenario. For the location and geology of a study area, the study site is Chan So Lin, a busy commercial area in Kuala Lumpur. It's underlain by the Kuala Lumpur Limestone Formation with a variable overburden of silty sand and some igneous rock intrusions, making it prone to cavities. The area's heavy traffic and urban activity make non-invasive investigation methods particularly valuable. This figure provides a spatial overview of the survey location, illustrating its boundaries and key landmarks. It serves to contextualize the study within the urban environment, highlighting the survey extent and accessibility considerations. The map also helped viewers understand the scale of the investigation and the relationship between the survey area and surrounding infrastructure or natural features. The geology here featured highly karstified limestone, which is susceptible to forming cavities and sinkholes. The overburden is silty sand, and there are marble-like igneous intrusions, creating a complex subsurface environment. These factors increase the risk of hidden hazards that can affect infrastructures. This figure visually represents the subsurface geological units and structural features relevant to the study. It emphasizes the layering, faulting, or folding that may influence subsurface conditions. By depicting lithological contrast and structural complexities, the figure aids in understanding how geological heterogeneity affects gravity measurements and the distribution of cavities. For the materials and methods, the researchers started with synthetic modeling using Grav2DC software, simulating a spherical cavity at 1 meter depth and 2 meters radius. The researchers set a density contrast of 1.0 gram per cubic centimeter and added 10% Gaussian noise to the data, mimicking real survey conditions. This step helped the researchers validate their approach before moving to fieldwork. This schematic outlines the parameters and configuration used in the synthetic modeling phase. It details the shape, size, and placement of the simulated anomaly within a simplified geological context. The figure also indicates the computational domain and boundary conditions, providing insight into how the model simulates realistic survey scenarios for testing inversion algorithms. So, for the microgravity survey, the researchers collected gravity data at 358 stations spaced 5 meters apart over 600 square meters. A high-precision Syntrax CG5 gravimeter was used with frequent base station checks and differential GPS for accurate positioning. This dense coverage allowed the researchers to capture detailed gravity variations across the site. So for the processing of the microgravity data, the raw gravity data were corrected for latitude, elevation, atmospheric effects, and converted to Bouguer anomalies. They removed the regional gravity field with a polynomial fit, isolating residual anomalies linked to local features like cavities. Careful data processing is crucial for reliable interpretation. So let's move on to the results and discussions. For the synthetic model results, the synthetic model after the 5 inversion iterations showed clear negative gravity anomalies for the cavity with a maximum amplitude of 0.05 milligal and a mean error of 3.18 milligal, confirming the method's effectiveness. This result demonstrated that the approach that the researchers used could reliably detect subsurface cavities under realistic conditions. This graph shows the gravity response generated by the synthetic model, highlighting the anomaly produced by the simulated cavity. The profile illustrates the amplitude of spatial extent of the anomaly, demonstrating the detectability of such features. It also serves as a framework for evaluating inversion performance by comparing model and synthetic data. For the Bouguer anomalies, field data showed high Bouguer anomalies from 7.8 to 8.02 milligal, trending southeast-northwest, and lower values from 7.48 to 7.6 milligal in the northeast, indicating subsurface density variations and possible cavities. These patterns match the researchers' expectation based on the site's geology. This contour or color-coded map depicts the spatial variation of Bouguer gravity anomalies across the survey area. It it reveals patterns that may correspond to subsurface density contrast, guiding the identification of potential targets. The figure also provides a baseline for further processing steps, such as regional trend removal and residual anomaly analysis. So after removing the regional trend, residual anomalies became more pronounced, ranging from negative zero point -2 to zero point -1 milligal. This mainly due to cavities and lithological variations, making it easier to pinpoint potential hazards. The figure focuses on localized gravity variations after estimating broad regional trends. It enhances the visibility of subtle anomalies that could indicate small-scale feature like cavities. The map assists in distinguishing between geological background effects and anomalies of interest, improving the precision of subsequent interpretations. Comparing the observed and modeled gravity profiles, the researchers found excellent correlation. The residual profile clearly highlighted the cavity system, validating the researchers' approach and confirming the accuracy of the inversion results. This comparative plot overlays measured gravity data with the results from the inversion model along a specific survey line. The close alignment between the two curves validates the inversion approach and confirms that the model accurately represents subsurface density variations. This figure is critical for demonstrating the reliability of the geophysical interpretation. So this is the final 2D model result, which was identified several layers: topsoil, clay silt, sand, gravel, limestone, and sandy shale. Cavities were detected in the clayey or silt layer at 6 to 10.5 meters depth, confirmed by the borehole data. So this agreement with drilling results increased the researchers' confidence in the method. For the conclusion of this study, the microgravity method successfully detected concealed cavities at Chansolin. The researchers mapped key geological units and found the main cavity system at 6 to 10.5 meters depth. This technique is valuable for identifying geohazards and supporting safe infrastructure development, especially for major projects like mass rapid transit. So that's the end of my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding the research, and thank you for listening.